The Now Habit: A Strategic Program for Overcoming Procrastination and Enjoying Guilt-Free Play by Neil Fiore. The Procrastination Coping Mechanism. Procrastination works, temporarily, to protect people from self-criticism, shame and anxiety. That is, procrastination isn't crazy. It's just an ineffective way of coping with problems you create. Most procrastinators submit their work on time, but at great cost and loss of quality work. People use procrastination to cope with low self-esteem, perfectionism, fear of failure and of success, indecisiveness, lack of work-play balance, ineffective goal setting, and negative concepts about work and yourself. They focus on what's wrong with them instead of simply focusing on doing the task. The three major fears that block action and create procrastination are the terror of being overwhelmed, the fear of failure, and the fear of not finishing. Procrastination can be an indirect, passive-aggressive way of rebelling against a demanding authority, including yourself. It offers an excuse for inadequate work done at the last minute. It manages fear of failure by guaranteeing that you can't excel, given the limited time you allow yourself to produce. Telling yourself, "I have to do all this work for them," reinforces feelings of victimhood and legitimizes resentment and foot-dragging. Overcoming procrastination requires living from choice, not because you have to or want to, and it leads to self-empowerment. 5 stages of procrastination. Be aware of procrastination when it happens. Start a calendar to track your activities in 30-minute increments for 3 days. Operate as usual, including procrastinating-related activities. Noting them helps you understand what you do and when you do it. In How to Get Control of Your Time and Your Life, Alan Lakin suggests tagging tasks as most important, A, important, B, and least important, C. Create a procrastination log, showing the day and time, the activity to do, and your thoughts and feelings to help you see where you are struggling and what you might do to change the situation. Procrastination and the associated anxiety operate in 5 stages. Recognizing them will help you detach from the cycle. You give a task or a goal the power to determine your worth and happiness. Your self-worth is separate from your work or performance. No job or ambition encompasses your value as a person. You use perfectionism to raise the task 100 feet above the ground. The task, job or relationship may be important, and making a mistake from 100 feet would have serious consequences. To do your best, you need an emotional psychological safety net. Tell yourself, "I won't make this the end of the world. Your worth is safe with me." You find yourself frozen with anxiety. When something matters greatly, your stress levels rise. That's normal, and you can redirect it toward performance in the present moment. Ask yourself, "What can I do now?" You then use procrastination to escape your dilemma. Instead of procrastinating, your old, outdated coping strategy, practice shifting to safety and focus in 1 to 3 deep breaths. Exhaling tells your body and brain, it's safe to exhale and shut off stress hormones and release energy to perform like a champion athlete. You use a real threat, such as a deadline, to release yourself from perfectionism and to act as a motivator. Never say, "I work best at the last minute." That's because you no longer have to be perfect. Just do what you can without worrying about criticism, and you have the perfect excuse, "I did it at the last minute." Break the cycle by starting early, even 5 minutes, to get a fear procrastination inoculation shot. Break through inertia. Get your brain working for you on just doing the task. By recording time worked, you see your progress rather than your failure to meet an unrealistic schedule. Throughout the costly anxiety cycle, procrastination is a temporary solution to help you avoid something you see as a threat to your worth. But you set up the equation, or accepted it from society and your conditioning. To break this cycle, notice when you start to avoid starting a task. Practice facing your fears for a brief period, 5 to 10 minutes. You are not telling yourself, "I have to finish all this work, do it perfectly and suffer with no fun in my life." You are just starting. Forget about finishing. Focus on starting. The last time you start, you'll have finished. The procrastinator's core issues are the same ones that motivate workaholics and lead to similar problems. Neither takes time away because unfinished work is always on their mind. They believe that life only happens when all their work is done. They suffer high levels of stress and find it hard to enjoy their lives. Changing your patterns and your perspective. You have the power to make choices. Shift away from "I have to" statements. Embrace "I choose" or "I decide" or "I will" statements which give clear, unambivalent directions to your brain and body. Commit to scheduled play, socializing, and exercise. Unconsciously, you'll be less resentful of work and even start to go earlier to the fun activities you've scheduled. Set limits when accepting assignments. You can say, "I'd be glad to work when I've finished these other priorities." Or, "Yes, thank you for your confidence in me. Please let me know what I can delegate in order to make this new task a high priority." In other words, when you can't say no, you can always say yes, and a failure wants a guarantee before starting a project that everything will go perfectly, without any problems. A successful person is willing to take reasonable risks. As you set boundaries, you will be eliminating the trap of victimhood and resentment that often leads to procrastination. Give yourself choices rather than speaking to yourself about "have to" and "should," which often lead to a sense of being burdened and of putting yourself down without offering a clear direction about when to start. Adopt new language to discuss enjoyable activities and to clarify which tasks are a burden. Use "no" assertively and non-defensively. For example, "No, I'll need time to think about that." Use 5 strategies to change your perspective. 1. Say, "I choose to," instead of "I have to." You don't have to want to. You can choose the consequences of starting or the consequences of procrastinating. 2. Switch from focusing on finishing your assignments to thinking about when to start. 2. Ask yourself, "What can I do now that will make this easier for my future self?" 3. Don't obsess about a huge, demanding project. 4. Focus on your human abilities rather than perfectionist expectations. 5. Accept that you need time to be alone, exercise, and enjoy your family and friends. Common blocks to action. Procrastination lets you avoid work you dislike, but most people rarely enjoy the associated anxiety. Punishment isn't motivational, so pushing yourself to work all the time is ineffective. Encourage yourself by having a reward or event to look forward to after the task. Successful people realize the value of time away from work. Recreation is a chance to feel recreated, to re-energize yourself and be ready for the serious work. Some of the most essential and complex learning and work we ever do is achieved while playing. Perfectionists' fear of criticism leads to a lack of self-assurance, which makes accomplishing anything difficult. Your ego derails you. Confidence comes from recognizing your situation, assessing your options, and pursuing them productively. Ask if you have other choices. Consider the worst possible outcome. Reflect on what you would do in that situation and how to decrease its severity. Find things you can do now to feel safer. Identify steps that allow you to start working. Pinpoint the specific activities that will help you meet your goal. To start a project, create a schedule and identify segments to tackle separately. Use a reverse calendar to think about a large project in smaller steps so you can identify specific segments that constitute the whole. When tasks seem huge and impenetrable, people often avoid them. Ignoring those situations makes some sense, but fear of not completing tasks can lead to procrastination and denial. Be present with the situation for 30 seconds. Use affirmations. A bit of time facing a fear while engaged in a positive self-affirming conversation helps shift an attached phobia. Learn to start. Find an approach that helps you begin. Some procrastinators start with the most rewarding activity. At some point, stop preparing and begin taking action. Don't expect to start at full speed. Understand what you are doing and to figure out how to do it. Start working and take some breaks. Recognize that other people involved might not share your perfectionist tendencies. Getting the job done is as important as some myth of perfection. Practice starting by doing a required activity for only 30 minutes. For many, overcoming the inertia of getting started is the most difficult step. Create an unschedule, a calendar of committed recreational activities that divides the week into manageable pieces with breaks, meals, scheduled socializing and play, to focus first on planned recreation. This provides a record of your productive, uninterrupted, dedicated work time, a pre-scheduled commitment to guilt-free time for recreation, plus a realistic look at the actual time available for work. The unschedule shows you how little time you have after you exercise, commute, date, sleep, and perform other life activities. It guides you to recognize your abilities and successes by providing a clear record of all you accomplish and rewarding your productivity. Consider these unscheduled guidelines. 1. Schedule social commitments, meals, sleep times, exercise periods, and routine elements like commutes, medical visits, and classes. 2. Note every half hour of work but only after working the full 30 minutes. 3. Provide a reward or switch to a more pleasant task after 30 minutes of sustained work. 4. Count the hours of work you do each week so you see the time you put in. 5. Take off one full day a week for recreation. 6. Do 30 minutes of work before any recreational activity. 7. Focus on each start time rather than on the end time. 8. Recognize that each positive experience when starting an activity gets you to the end. 9. Small tasks will get you to your goals. 9. Don't think about reading a whole book. 9. Start with one chapter and read for a focused 30 minutes. 10. Don't stop when you are stuck. 10. Go 5 minutes more and seek a solution. One of the most devastating consequences of procrastination is that it leads to putting off living. After filling in your unschedule for 2 weeks, notice when you are most productive and center your activities on those days and times. Setbacks are natural, but plan for them. If you procrastinate, notice what triggered stalling and how it made you feel. Let those days slide by. Everything won't be perfect, but that's no reason not to start. Supervising procrastinators at work. Managing procrastinators requires being sensitive about how to provide a structure that helps reduce perfectionism and fear of criticism. Procrastinators can easily feel overwhelmed by large tasks and deadlines. Establish start lines and request rough drafts to ensure your employee is focused on the task rather than ego-defensive extra work. Provide frequent praise for all steps in the right direction and specific steps for improvement when work is below par. Focus your feedback on how their work supports the final product. Break large tasks into manageable steps for small wins from the outset. Offer support if the employee becomes stuck on a problem, observing how quickly they are capable of resolving a seemingly difficult or impossible task. Being engaged, rather than just demanding, "Finish this by the deadline," makes them more likely to achieve the positive results you both desire. Procrastination is not a character defect. Takeaways. 1. Procrastination acts like a phobia. You avoid tasks you see as threats to your worth. 1. Equating your worth to your work makes you vulnerable to procrastination. 2. To conquer procrastination, separate your worth from your work. 2. Be safe with yourself, regardless of criticism. 3. Select, "I choose to start," not, "I have to finish." 3. To detach from procrastination's insidious cycle, recognize the 5 stages that produce it and its associated anxiety. 3. Procrastination's issues lead to workaholism, being overwhelmed, and perfectionism. 4. Tech advances, computers, cell phones, offer procrastinators compelling distractions. 5. Understand the value of time off, vacations, exercise. 5. Schedule legit, guilt-free play, so your unconscious, dreaming mind can make creative leaps in problem-solving. 6. Choosing to start a task doesn't require your ego to feel confident, motivated, or to all-knowing. 6. Choosing to start is an executive brain decision of your higher, mature self. 7. The unschedule creates an unconscious drive to start work sooner, since you have protected leisure. 7. Life is not just to-do lists and obligations. 7. It's like a time clock you punch for 15 to 30 minutes of quality-focused work, so you see progress. 8. To overcome procrastination, choose when to start for 15 to 30 minutes and on what to start, giving your body and brain clear leadership messages. 8. Managing procrastinator requires such statements. 9. Replace, "You have to finish all of this work perfectly," with, "Choose when to start. Have a draft by 4 p.m." Give procrastinators positive feedback on their progress, not overwhelming distant deadlines. Please like, share and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.